Hello everyone, Veronica Torres back again with another chapter from our book, The Choice for Consciousness, Tools for Conscious Living, Volume 1. We have 3 volumes of this book now, so that's what they all look like. You can order them on Amazon. They're available as ebook or paperback. Very groovy. And today's chapter, or today's tool, is neutral observation. This is a real foundational concept for Elohim. And let's just dive into it and see what we've got. This is a tool that says, I'm not going to take my habitual response as the mandated action. It means I'm going to stop and ask what is actually going on here in the moment. Neutral observation is like carving out a little space that says, in this moment, instead of all the habitual ways I could react, I'm going to open to hearing a new way, open to insight from my soul, and ask, what is this teaching me and what am I learning? To carve out a space where my reaction can be something new rather than habitual. Neutrality doesn't have duality in it. Neutrality doesn't have judgments in it. Neutrality doesn't have all these places within you that you have habitually gone with a situation. That's one of the reasons that it's hard to go into neutral observation, because you have all these little niches in you where your habit runs. Habit takes you here, habit takes you there, and you're just thinking, how can I be neutral in this moment? Well, that takes a little practice. You're literally rewiring your neural pathways in order for this to work. So let's say you have insecurity about a project. Oh, I have this project and I don't know how it's going to turn out. If you're in the fear, then it's, I don't know what's going to happen. And you start hamster wheel thinking, I should do this. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I shouldn't have started this. Everybody knows what this feels like. If we take that up into a higher vibrational space, it's, wow, there's that feeling in my chest again. Interesting, it's showing up again. There's that feeling of, there's potential for failure here. Wow, failure is a judgment. The truth is, everything's a learning experience. If I can look at this neutrally, then the outcome isn't what drives this experience. This fear is based on a need for a certain outcome. These feelings in my body are being elicited by a need for a certain outcome. If I can see this neutrally and just say, wow, there's that fear. There's that habit popping up again. I can feel it in my chest. I can see it in my life, but I'm not too attached to the outcome that fear is trying to get me to attach to. The fear is saying, the shit's hitting the fan. Neutral observation says, everything's interesting. When you can stay neutral, you can feel the fear, but say, I'm just going to see it. I'm not going to let the feeling of fear tell me what to do next. I'm going to let neutral observation and insight from my soul reveal what's going to happen next. And every time that fear stirs up in me, I'm going to make another choice for insight. I'm going to make another choice just to watch it, rather than let it drive the experience I'm in. And that, of course, takes a little bit of practice. But those neural pathways will lay down very quickly because it's a high vibrational activity and because it actually leads to so much relief of the body's tension. When you can sit in neutral observation and say, I see the body reacting, but that's not the choice I'm making, the body starts to calm. You calm into a higher vibration rather than stir up in a lower vibration. And that's really the cusp of this whole thing. Watch the fear and know it's an option, not a mandate. Choose again and again to see it rather than be it. Even if you feel it, still say, I see you, fear. I feel you trying to show up in my life and run the show, but I'm not going on that path. I'm not attached to the outcome you're trying to scare me about. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to be as neutral as possible and point you out to myself. And the fears will dissipate. They have to. Because when you take something that's low vibration and infuse it with high vibration, it can't last. It's like putting an ice cube in a microwave. It can't last. It's biologically incompatible. It can't last in that environment. Neutral observation, remember, is not numb. Neutral observation is being extremely aware of what's going on and choosing to have as neutral as possible an experience of it. Neutral observation doesn't make you a doormat. In fact, neutral observation only works when you set boundaries. Then we included a little Q&A here about this tool. So this is Elohim speaking. Neutral observation stops in the moment, collects what the moment is offering, sets boundaries, and then moves into where's the aha? Where's the learning? Where's the next step here? And then into action, which leads to a new moment, which leads to an opportunity for neutral observation. The response to that was, which is so hard. And Elohim says, we understand, but we also see very clearly that when you live in habitual response, it's painful. Neutral observation is challenging, but habitual response is painful. And the questioner asks, where's the switch to turn it off and on? Elohim says it's really a spiritual choice. It's that choice that says, I know I'm in habit. I know I'm in a coping mechanism. I know I'm using fear. I know I'm bringing the past or the future into this moment. I know. It's catching yourself and then saying to yourself, I know where this leads. It's like when you had a bad breakup and you're listening to a sad song on the radio and you have your hand on the phone and you're going to call. You're going to call that person you just broke up with. And you know, you have your phone on the phone and the phone on the hand, the hand on the phone, and you know what's going to happen when you dial. You know it's going to be ugly. You know they don't want to hear from you. You know that you're going to hear stuff you don't want to hear. Even if you get the answering machine, you don't want to hear the answering machine. You don't even know what you want from that person. You just know that that's what you think is your coping mechanism. That pain on the other side of the phone. Now, to let go of the phone, to be conscious, to sit with that is very challenging and can be very emotional. But you know what happens if you pick up the phone? So you have a choice. And the choice is to be disciplined enough to say, the habit of picking up the phone is less attractive than the challenge of becoming conscious in the moment. Neutral observation doesn't mean numb. Neutral observation means I don't know everything. Therefore, I'm going to open to my soul helping me see all that I can so that I can choose, state preferences, and set boundaries in order to operate from the most grace, ease, and bliss possible in this dynamic. And that can be applied to every single moment. After each of our tools, I gather comments from the folks that are using them. I always start off. Here's what I said. Oh yes, neutral observation, my old friend. This was one of the first tools Elohim ever gave us. It feels like putting on a comfortable pair of jeans or my favorite boots, relaxing into an alternative to the hamster wheel mind and the requirement to know everything. I find as I progress along my own spiritual arc, and I work more deeply with Elohim and the whole council, that neutral observation becomes more and more of a default position. When I wrote this book, it was not. Absolutely not. This was all sort of like, how the heck do you do that? But over time and through different situations, being able to say, wait a second, I don't have to go where fear wants me to go with this. What if I just observe it neutrally, literally, just stay as neutral as possible? And I think it's a really important thing to reiterate that neutrality doesn't mean doormat, and neutrality doesn't mean that you even accept what's going on or like it or want it to continue. It simply means if I react from a neutral perspective, I have the best chance of offering the highest version of me in this moment. And if I react from habit or low vibration, I'm going to probably contribute to the chaos around me. Janice contributed a comment. To me, neutral observation is one of the most important and useful tools of all. When I'm in neutral observation, I immediately go into the present moment and I become aware at a gut level that my thinking mind holds a gentle tyranny over me. If I'm not very aware, it runs my life through habitual patterns and knee-jerk reactions. This practice has also made me aware that there is room for very little or no spontaneous action on my part when the habitual mind is in control. That's a good point. I live much more cleanly and peacefully when I can remember to stay in neutral observation. Randy contributed, this tool helps me step back and not take things so damn seriously, allows the big picture to be seen. And Donna concludes, neutral observation stops me from becoming overly emotional when I'm triggered. I find myself in a space where time seems to stand still and provides an opportunity for me to view my situation and its many options. Yes, indeed. Now, I want to also read the card that goes with neutral observation. I've been showing you guys that we have the cards that go with each tool in the books. And neutral observation. How can I open to insight from my soul in this moment? What am I learning? Seek to hold a view that is as neutral as possible. This is not being numb. This is being very aware while not relying on habitual responses. This takes practice. You are literally rewriting your neural pathways. I'll put a link to order the decks of cards and the books in the description of the video. Subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all our new videos. Bye-bye.